Hey guys, I am DM Zone. This is Gamers Oasis. Let's get into it. We're going to be doing something just a little bit different. I'm hoping to wrap up the Tower of Zenopus in this session. So I'm going to be doing a few changes as we go. And I want to talk about a new purchase I made off of a website to get some more dice in. So as you know, I have some dice that are larger than normal, and my D20s are even larger than that. This I found out is a 50 millimeter, and these are 25 millimeter. So you can see they're essentially, yes, you get the general idea. So I've ordered, because I can't get these anymore. These are not sold by that company. So I got me 3 new dice sets of this size that are going to be different in color. In this case, they're going to be purple with green. The reason why I went with that is for 2 reasons. One, they're bold, they stand out. The numbers are not going to be confusing, they're easy to read, and the D4s are not pyramids. They are one of these new types where you can look down on the dice and you can see what the number is instead of kind of catching it from an angle a little bit, which this camera over here does a pretty good job of. We're going to be using that to make sure that when you can see the dice, you know what's being rolled, type of thing, for complete transparency and fairness, which I feel like is a big part of this particular playthrough. I enjoy that aspect of it. I think the viewers enjoy that aspect of it, and I'm kind of clean my mess as I go here and making room for everything else. But to give you an idea, here is a D8 that's normal, and here is my 25 millimeter D8. You can for sure see a difference in the size of those dice. Okay, so those will be coming. They won't be in the Tower of Zenopus. They will be in whatever I do next, which will probably be either Rodimus Keep, which is BX, or I'll be doing B1, which is going to be In Search of the Unknown. And I'll probably actually do Rodimus Keep when I actually get to BX. So I'll probably do B1 with this group continuing on, and then maybe we'll start a new group going through Rodimus Keep. I've run that one already once before. My BX campaign actually started there, and it went for like 3.5 years. So it went on for quite a while. But anyways, let me get into what we're doing. Give me 1 second. We're going to finish being pedantic with these miniatures. All right, so I need to make sure my live stream's up and going, and I haven't just been talking to myself for the last few seconds. Yes, we are live. Do I have chat up? So I have chat. I can see it. I currently do not see anything chat-wise that has been said yet. So if you have any comments or statements or questions, feel free to ask, and I'll try and make a response as I see this. I'll check this every few minutes, or whenever I get done with combat, I'll go ahead and look over. We are playing Holmes Edition 1977 Dungeons and Dragons. We are doing the Tower of Zenopus, which is found on the very end of this book. It's kind of like the Rodimus Keep, which is in the basic book of the BX series. So yeah, it's been quite fun. I have not fully read this. I have looked at the map, so I don't know how this ends. I'm going to be doing a couple follow-up videos. One's going to be the entire live stream, probably have to be chopped up into 2 videos, because I have a hardware limitation on my free editory, like the video editing stuff. They only can do 10 hours. So I chop it down to less than 10 hours, or I'll have to do it in 2 videos. The reason why I want to do it in 1 video versus someone going to go back and watch all the other live streams is it's easier to keep track. You ever clicked off a video and then gone back and it's right where you're at, but then you go back to try and find that video a week later and you can't find it? This, putting it on one video, kind of solves that. Yes, it's a long watch. Yes, you'll probably watch it in your TV, which is great. But yeah, you get the idea. I think it's a different way to present it. And if people really like it, I'll try and do this with all the videos. And we'll just, when I get done with a season or a session, like a campaign or a module, we'll go ahead, try and turn it into one long video or a couple long videos so people can just watch it all the way through versus being like, this is episode 9, trying to find 7, 8, 9, you get the general idea. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into what we're doing here. I have 2 things straight off the bat before I dive into it that we need to go ahead and resolve. I asked in the community post what we're going to do with Hilda's dagger. Hilda found a dagger that she was very interested in. She went to pick it up. It started to attack her. It ended up being a dagger of dancing. The sage that the party has been working with, the one who's a liaison to the patron, has been deciding what it is, how to control it, and that type of thing. The question is, what was the party going to do with it? Hilda, as you may or may not know, died last week or so. And the problem is, who gets it now? Now that you have this dagger and you understand it and know how to control it, and there are some limitations. I actually did a video talking about this type of stuff just about a week ago on Sunday or Monday of this week, actually. It's kind of like, who gets it? Well, by majority, I'm going to pull that up real quick. I think it was this one here. So 67% of the viewers thought that it should go to Hilda. 33% said it should go to the dwarf fighter, who is newer to the party, who's known as Dorfor. 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 And Dorfor is a dwarf fighter, has been with the party for like a week. Ronilda was the party torchbearer for 5 sessions, and then became the party magic user when a spot opened up, and has been with the party for 2 sessions. This would be the 3rd. And the importance of that was she was actually there when the dagger was found, though she was the torchbearer at the time. And I think that kind of is the reason why they decided to give it to the magic user. Now, I didn't discuss this when I put the post up, but I have discussed it since then. She's going to be able to command the dagger to attack, and anything within 30 feet can be attacked by it. It was kind of alluded to that when the dagger left the sheath and started to attack Hilda and all that. But the actual way it is and all that is now understood. And for 10 rounds a day, the dagger is able to react if someone tries to steal it. It will immediately attack the person until it does damage to them, or until it's basically commanded to stop, or that person runs away. The other way this can work is Ronilda can go ahead and have this dagger attack, and it will attack someone up to 30 feet away from the sheath. So if she really feels like she needs to do something, she can put the sheath down and then run away, and the dagger will continue to fight in the area. Or she can throw it to someone else, and they can take the sheath with them if they really need to, and she can continue to command it. Now, once the sheath gets out of there, I'm going to say she can't really respond if she doesn't have the sheath in her hand. But the dagger has some baseline thought processes of what it would do. It's not an ego weapon. It's not going to take control. It doesn't have some sort of like spirit associated with it. It's basically just sort of an animated magic with sort of like a rudimentary understanding of what it needs to do or can do. The commands are given mentally. They can be spoken out loud, but that doesn't actually make it any better or more effective. They just need to happen mentally to be able to do that. I'm not going to get into all this. I will just say the dagger only does this for 10 combat rounds a day. So it's not completely overpowered, but it does allow the magic user something to do in between combats when it's not able to cast spells. The magic user cannot use other items that require commands, so you cannot use a wand, and this at the same time. You cannot cast a spell and this at the same time, just like you can't use a wand and cast a spell at the same time. They are mutually exclusive. Okay, so that's the first thing. Ronilda's going to go ahead and get the dagger. Let me go ahead and get her character sheet, and I will write that down now because I have not done that. I literally did leave it till the last second. I'm going to put here dagger of dancing. Okay. It is a +1 weapon. So it will do a +1 to damage, and it will do a +1 to hit. The other thing we need to do is we need to roll for more people. We are down to 3 people in the party, so we need to fill it back up to 5. We're going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to swap cameras. Give me 1 second. Perfect. And this little sticky note here is going to be important too. Let me look real quickly to see where we were at with the polling. Last I saw, it was very high going back to the Green Dragon Inn. Yes, we are still there. We haven't had any new votes. We are still at 80% to get more from the Green Dragon Inn. I'm going to go ahead and say that we're going to pull both from there. If it was like a 60-40, I would have done one from each. But since it is not, we're going to go ahead and do that closer. I'm going to go ahead and turn this way and sort of adjust this camera so I can have you look, not this side, this side. So you can go ahead and see this. Now, I have 2 that I have not marked out here, as you can see. Let me make sure I can actually see what I'm seeing here. Yes. If I roll one of them, I'm going to do high or low, and I have made 2 new characters that I'm going to go ahead and add that are not any differently made than how these characters are made. Maybe just a little bit more, like a little bit more of a decision on like what class or race type of thing we want. I say that, and I probably even shouldn't even allude to that. One's a thief and one's a magic user. They're both human. So nothing crazy. All right, we're going to go ahead and roll a d10. Here's for the first one. So number 8, this is not one of the ones. This is another one. Let me go ahead and, you can see it right here. Let me go ahead and pull this over here so I can look at it. I just adjusted my stand. One of the things I've been wanting to do. Oh, nice. Cleric. Human cleric. German. Interesting. German with a J. Jurmin. German? I think it'd be the right way to say that. German Lander. Human cleric of the Cleric of Light. So he'll be a good match. Let me go ahead and get him. He's a helper and a pessimist. So he's a frustrated, grumpy dude, I guess. Be the right way of putting that. Here's Jordan. He wears plate mail, has a shield, uses a mace, of course, has sling. His very average on stats. So average, I want to show it off. So, as you can see here, with his 10 strength, his 8 intelligence, his 11 wisdom, his 11 dexterity, his 9 constitution, and his 11 charisma, he basically rolled meh. He is a very meh character. So, we will make the most of this as we can. He is going to be character number 14, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. This doesn't need to be here, though. I was a little confused by it. That is Mr. Oh, that's right. He's a torchbearer. Sorry. That was Mr. Orm's second page for his spells. Being a first level cleric, he won't have spells, but he will have turn undead. So I believe he is number 14. which means we've had literally like 10 characters die along the way. Now, number 15, I'm going to go ahead and roll that real quick. Put this back over here so you can look at. Oops, let me mark this off real quick. All right. I don't think it really matters a whole lot. You just need to be able to see the screen. Here's for the next one. Number 6. Number 6 is also one we've not had. That is Laura Hayward, a fighter. A female halfling fighter. Interesting. She is a thinker and she is selfless. Nice. So, definitely a party of different people. Let me go ahead and get her character sheet. There she is. So she has a 14 strength, a 10 intelligence, an 8 wisdom, a 12 dexterity, a 13 constitution, and a 10 charisma. And a 13 constitution is not enough, unfortunately. It's in other editions of D&D, that would be enough for a +1. You have to get to a 15 in Holmes Edition. So I have done this, and I have done this, and she is number 15. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put her over here. She has plate mail with a shield. She uses a spear. She had a dagger, a mace, wire, and bells. And then she also has a backpack with rope. Anything else in here specific and special? Flask of oil ×1. It's got some other cool tools. Let me go ahead and get the miniatures for this. I'm going to go ahead and put, oops. Here's our torchbearer. The priest with a big cross. Then we have Oddberg, the original cleric. He's actually character number 1, believe it or not. I'll show you the character sheet if I can here a little bit. Character number 1 is Oddberg. He is now a 2nd level cleric. He is the only one who is 2nd level. And then we have Ronilda with a dagger, which actually got a dagger in hand. Give me 1 second. We're going to use this guy here as our new cleric. He could be a magic user, but that will be German. This is German with his book. I'm going to call it a prayer book. I say this because if you look, he is wearing plate mail. So he's not quite, he's either a battle mage or he is a cleric. And I might have to actually go upstairs and get me an unpainted miniature because I have female halflings. They're just not painted yet. And I don't know, actually, if I have a female cleric or female halfling painted. So give me 1 second. Let me go get one of my unpainted miniatures. And then I will, if she lives, I will have her painted for whatever we do next. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I apologize. Okay, I am back. I apologize for that. I'm going to just say this outright. I'm not sponsored at any point in time or ever really by any company for miniatures and whatnot. However, if a company sees this and likes what it does and they actually want to do something towards that, I'm not necessarily opposed if they have really cool miniatures. I'm trying to complete certain things, and I have been kind of working towards a few things, which is kind of funny. So, like, one of the things I wanted to have was I wanted to have a band from hell, literally. So I have a bunch of tiefling bards. I have a few different poses of them, and I'm kind of there. I'm not going to get into all this. I have all sorts of things, but like, this is the direction I want to go with my goblins for some of the type of goblins I have. I haven't got those painted yet. And then in this box, I have a heap of miniatures, of which I have I have a female halfling, I guarantee it. She has a wand. But I do have a female halfling with a wand. Obviously, that's not original Dungeons and Dragons. That's kind of a cool one. But that's a male, I think. And the other thing is it might be gnome. I have a bunch of gnomes in here, too. That looks like that looks like a male. That's a knife. We have it. I wasn't sure if it was like a wizard going spirit to Sanctu or something like that, but it's a knife. So this will be our halfling. Was it a fighter or a thief? Let me look at this again. Here it is. It's really confused. Fighter. So she's going to be a fighter, even though she's kind of thief looking. Do I have a more fighter looking one? Give me a second here. She's going to have to be a lightly armored fighter for now. I need to get these guys painted. I have a couple things I just really need to get painted, like screechers. And the more of the goblins I was showing you earlier, I have several of them. And then I have a couple mimics. You only need a couple. But I need to get these painted. So I'm going to set this aside so I know these are things I want to paint. I have big dreams for having like completed sets. Like, I want to have a certain type of orc and I want to have enough to fill a tribe of them. I think that's important. I want to have enough gnolls, enough lizard men to have a different thing, and then maybe a different species of gnolls to be its own thing. And then I want to have like different goblins or whatever. One of the big ones I've been pushing on is bugbears. And I think I have the bugbear tribe I need. It's like 30 miniatures of bugbears, just bugbears, and all sorts of types. The other one I've been working on here real recently for collecting is mushrooms. So I have inanimate mushrooms type things, like not necessarily inanimate, but like plant mushrooms. And then I have mycenids. And then I have like screechers and that type of things that might be equivalent to like molds and funguses and that. I have lots of those. And I just haven't got that into it yet to paint them. I'm hoping in some of this downtime to get painting miniatures and to have that all set up that way. That's one of my bigger arching plans. Okay. Now that we got the party, go ahead and start saying their names so I can remember it. I'm going to go ahead and look and see. Looks like we have maybe some comments. I can't tell if that's old comments or if that's fresh comments. Let me take a look. We have some comments. Hello, Stephen. Nice to see you. You say hold fast. Kobolds are never enough. That is very true. Yes. So he's also a collector of the different types of groups or factions, whatever you want to say. Like Games Workshop orcs, I have far more of those than I ever will need to be able to field basically anything. There might be a few miniatures here and there, but bulk, I could do that. I literally could field a Warhammer Fantasy Battle orc army. So, yeah, that's the thing. Okay, so here I have a sticky note. We had not done the riddle at 400 or at 4 o'clock, 1600, 4 o'clock, we're going to say. And then we have not done technically the tunnel. We got to the tunnel. We had a fight with some bad guys, and we decided to turn back because it did not go very well for us. But we're going to check out the tunnels, and we're going to check out this to complete the. We've gone to all the areas we know of before going either up the spire to the tower or going down the natural caverns, or cavern, I should say, to wherever that might lead. So we're going to fill out the back and then go this way. And one of the things I was also going to do is during that, I'm going to do a concise version of what happened when this party went through it. And I'm going to hand draw the map as we go and use colored pencils and pens to color it in and to give it sort of like a mixed media feel. That will be my hand in a time lapse while I talk over it, so you don't necessarily have to look at me while you hear the story of what happened with. I don't want to use the cleric's name because of fear of he might die, but we're going to say this expedition into Tower of Zenopus, and we will go that way, and then we'll figure it out from there. Okay, so I'm going to say a 1 in 6 chance that we do not go at 4 o'clock to the riddle, then go to the tunnels. I'm going to say 1 in 6 chance of that, and then once we get both these elements satisfied, then we will go ahead and start exploring either up the tower or to the natural caverns. If you guys want to put a vote in chat, I will take that in consideration when I actually roll the dice. We'll do that later, but if you want to say something now or try to encourage people, that's just fine too. Okay, so, or give your argument for why. I think that's a good thing, a good way of looking at it. 1 in 6 chance we do not go at 4 o'clock to the riddle. Aha! We're going to go to the tunnel first. So if we're going to do the tunnel first, because they feel like it's that much more important, I'm going to say they leave way before 4, so that they can get there, but they'll have to wait. So how much before? Let me go ahead and do an intelligence check. I'm going to say Oddberg has a 9 intelligence. They probably would lean on him for wisdom. I'm going to say I have to roll below his intelligence of 9 to be within a good range. Either it's going to be too little time, or there's going to be so much time they're going to have to literally wait to 4 o'clock to be there at the riddle to potentially ask the question as the riddle rules are. Okay, here's for 9 or less. They rolled a 6, so we're going to have a decent thing. So let me get the map out real quick. Party has been drawing a map as they go. I'm going to kind of put it here a little bit. This doesn't really tell you anything other than the numbers and everything. Okay, so you start here, and you're going to go across here, or go up here and go to the rats. Last time this took basically 10 minutes to get there, cautiously walking, taking their time. So if we take one turn to get there and then check out what is going on with these RT rat tunnels and what that means, then we can go ahead and come back all the way down here to room I where the riddle is. I'm going to say this is probably 2 turns. That's going to be a turn to get there. So we'd be lucky to make it in 3 turns plus however much time we spend in the rat tunnels. And my thought is 2 turns. So that is 5 turns. But wait, I just realized something. They can't cross H unless they have Tinter's floating disk memorized. So they'll have to go back. They can't cross through here because this is where that room was. They've already been trapped in here once with the statue that rotates, and the doors are locked on the inside, but you can enter freely. So they're going to have to go from there all the way back and then back to here. So 1 turn up, 1 turn back is 2 turns. Then you got 2 different rooms. That's going to be 2 turns. Yeah. So 4 to 6 turns. We're going to say they're going to leave an hour early. They're going to enter the dungeon. Let's just make it a little bit better than that. Let's make it 2:50 is when they're going to enter the dungeon. That gives them, 7 turns to get over here to I. And if they get in combats, that could be slowed. Is that right? Let's go. No, I was going to give them a little extra time. So 8 turns. So we have to get here in 8 turns. And the combat is always 10 minutes. So they might have to forego patience or whatever and run. But that could be a thing. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to enter the dungeon. And we're going to go over here. This is why you should have gone to the rat tunnels first. But I didn't roll the dice. Maybe there's some sort of hidden wisdom to this that we will figure out as we explore this dungeon. Okay, so I'm not going to lay the map as we go. I'll lay that when we get to a place that is more specific or needs more detail. If you get into like a fight. So, starting over here, we're going to enter the dungeon. Here is there anything in area C, which is corridor? Yes, there is. Alrighty, let me go ahead and draw the map out. I apologize. We are going to have combat just straight off the bat. No, not this one. Not that one. Where's my stairs? Oops. Here we go. So we have stairs. And then we have a cross section. Go and get my other camera angle up. Okay, so here's our camera angle. We're going to have it like this. We know this goes off the map this way. And then this, I'm just going to put this here. And then we know this goes here. I need to roll a d6 to see or d12, excuse me, to know what we got coming. That is a 10. Don't know if I rolled a 10. No, I have not. Interesting. I'm kind of excited for this encounter. All right, D4 plus 1. 4, total of 5. Give me 1 second. Well, finding this, I found a better miniature for her. So we're going to go ahead and save that for a second. I have the miniature. All right, give me 1 second. These are all the same species, but here's my miniature for it. She's actually wearing chainmail. It is a druid, obviously, with all the feathers and leaves and whatnot, wearing chainmail or something silly. So I'm not going to use this perfect thief. I'll use my dwarf female, or my female. She almost looks halfling. I think it's supposed to be a dwarf, but whatever. It's close enough. Give me 1 second. Let me get more dwarves. So another army I have a vast quantity of is dwarves. I have so many dwarves. It is beyond obnoxious. All wherever 40k or wherever fantasy stuff. I don't have squats, so I don't have 40k dwarves. I just have fancy dwarves. But I have so many, I could literally field like 10,000 points, 12,000 points, a lot. And these are very colorful. Matter of fact, I'm just going to use all the same. Save those for later. Because they have not had the final wash put on to darken them. So they are just a little bit peculiar because they're so bright. But here are the dwarves. And there's quite a few. And they even have a little musician dwarf with a great axe. I'm not going to bring this guy in either. I also have a runesmith. Or an engineer in this case. When they get dyed down, they get that wash put on to make them darker. That's more of the tone they go for. Anyways. So, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. So a D3 potentials of direction. How does it work when you run into a friendly group, right? 4. So 1, 2. This is going to be 3, 4. So they are going to be coming from here, heading down the way. Now, the party is like this. I need to do another thing. Give me a second here. So we know we have Oddberg not in the front. And we have Odd Red, all red, I should say, who is the torch next to him. They're essentially like this generally. We were having Dorfer up front. We were having Ronilda in the back. And of course, now we're going to have our new cleric and fighter. So we'll have Allura and German. I'm going to have German kind of tie up the back with Ronilda. And we'll have them kind of swap like this. I'll put Oddberg up closer. Oddberg being the second level thief. Or not thief, cleric. We almost had a second level thief. They unfortunately died. Okay. So we're going to have Allura, Dwarf. Then we're going to have these two swap. And then we have German. And then we have Ronilda. So that would be like that. And we're in turn number 1. Okay, so I don't know what the personality of everyone is. This is going to come down to a dice roll. First, I'm going to roll their behavior, and then I'll roll sort of a luck roll to see maybe why they have the behavior they have. Here's for their monster reaction test. Dwarves are typically lawful good, meaning that they are not generally going to attack a party. But they can be, as dwarves can be, a little bit defensive, think you're after their loot, and all those things. Here's for the dice. I'm going to move this one out of the way. So we're at a 9. We're pretty high up. I'm going to say that they're pretty much at ease. They see there is a dwarf and a halfling in the party, so they're like, okay, probably not bad dudes. I'm going to say they were pretty lucky. So they are going to have found some loot from somewhere inside this dungeon, and they are carrying it out. And they're going to ask, where is the party going? And will the party be honest? So here's for a D6. I'm going to say 4, 5, or 6, they're going to be honest. This is a band of dwarves. 1, 2, and 3, they're not going to be honest because the last thing they need is dwarves knowing where they're going. In the future, if I should lower that number, let me know, and I will take that into consideration because, dwarves might follow you back in if to try and, you get the general idea. All right, here's this. 4. So we are going to be honest. They're going to say we're going to be going north. Let us go, and we will leave you alone. And I think I'm going to roll a charisma check of probably the dwarf. So dwarfer, please tell me you have a decent charisma. Yes. And I'm going to give you a +2 because you are a dwarf speaking to dwarves. All right, so you need to roll 15 or less. He rolled a 1. Beautiful. We will have beers later. And we have navigated that without a potential fight, which I think is good. Ronaldo will pull a little bit closer as the dwarf party passes by. I want to check out something real quick. I see that there's some typing in here again. Let me pull these out of the way. Put these back in my bag of dwarves over here. Chaos dwarves too. No, I never got any of the chaos dwarves. My chaos dwarves I have actually come from a game system called Manic, and I can't remember the name of it, but they're called Infernal or Abyssal dwarves is what they're called, and they're really well done, made miniatures, and they actually have dwarf centaurs of the same mold and type and everything. So sometime I'll get them painted up and we'll run into some evil dwarves with that. Battle for Skull Pass. He very well might have been in there. I don't know. I bought several of the Battle for Skull Pass, actually. That was a big part of when I played Warhammer 40k in Fantasy. back in the day. Now they don't call it Warhammer Fantasy Battle. They call it Old World. It's what they call it, which is still pretty apt. And if I had more friends locally that played it, I probably would play it. Okay, let me go ahead. We got to go up a little bit more, and we're going to go into Room N. Room N has not been in there for a week. It's not been long enough for anything like unguarded loot or traps to be made, but there could be something inhabiting it. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this. Now, the way I work that in my world is if you have been out of the room for a week, then new monsters could be in there. A day, you could have new monsters in there. But you're not going to find unguarded loot or whatever. You have to be gone for 2 weeks. So areas they didn't go to last week, or when they last were here, they'll be able to potentially find unguarded loot and a trap as a other half of that. Now, a 1 and 2 is an actual encounter in an empty room. This is not an empty room. This is a named room, which means we've already had our encounters here. So I'm only going to do that as a wandering monster of a 1 only. So there is a little bit nuance in the rules, but it's pretty finite and small. Okay, so as you saw, the room is kind of like this. I'm going to move them over here. And on the north side of the room, or if you remember, there was a bunch of rat tunnels and everything. I'm not going to have her on that side. These are sarcophaguses. There was a total of 10. 6 of them were opened or sealed when the party got there. 4 were opened. At some point in time, I'm going to be talking about that aspect of the game and how I felt like that played out in my world. Sort of a retrospective, because when I was doing this, of course, I didn't know. But I'm going to go ahead and mark this as turn number 2, because the dwarf interaction would take a full turn to deal with. Now I need to roll percentile, because this room always has a percentile chance of having a giant rat in it. 52 is not it. So there are no giant rats. The party happens to have a halfling and happens to have a dwarf. Those two are the listed types that can crawl into these rat tunnels without problems. So since they're both fighters, we're going to have them go first and everyone else kind of squeeze in behind them. Not because they are going to try and go through at the same time, but because the hole is only 3 foot tall and a couple feet wide. So it's literally a little bit of a hard press to get into it. Now, I'm just going to roll some dice and we'll do some theater of the mind. So I'm going to switch my camera angles real quick. Okay, so most importantly, we got to track this thing right here. I'm going to try and slide this over here. Figure this out. Where in the world? Stuff map. There we go. So I can roll. I can get there. Slide this over a little bit. Now I'm going to be rolling some d6s here. The problem we have is this is kind of DM's discretion. It gives a suggestion. I've gone ahead, because I read this a little bit last week when we were here. I went ahead and thought about this over the weekend, and I don't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and make a suggestion to it. I'm not going to talk about it right here. We're going to see if we find it. And if it doesn't, then when I do the concise version, or I talk about how I would do it or how I'd rerun this module, then I will talk about it in more depth there. But here's for the D6s. So we're going to have 6 finds success towards it. A 1 finds an encounter. The only difference between what the book says so far and what I'm doing is a 6 actually has value. In the book, a 1 finds a creature. So we have a 3. So we spend 10 minutes crawling through these tunnels, left, right. They're twisting and winding. We are now on turn number 3. We know we have to get through 2 rooms, which is going to be, was it 4 turns? And that makes us a 7, and we have to find our way out. And there's no way to turn around. So the party's going to have to decide if they're going to continue this. I'm going to go ahead and do... Oh, I need to do a dice roll real quick. This is for, does the orc dice shrink, or the bonus dice shrink to a D4? Yes. So I'm no longer rolling a D6 for that. I'm now rolling a D4. When this rolls a D4, then we're going to have a pseudo-planned impromptu encounter, which I think will be interesting. Okay, so now the party has to decide what are they going to do. We are on turn 3. We have to find a way to get back out or just back out. I'm going to say backing out will take twice as long. So if they spend 1 turn going forward, it's going to cost them 2 turns going back. I'm going to say 4, 5, or 6, they just decide to back out. This is not where they want to be. And they see lots of sign of rats in here. And every time they've come back, there's been rats. So 4, 5, or 6 are leaving. We've rolled a 4. We are backing out. So they're going to spend 2 turns, which I need to do actually a wandering encounter check when they come. Well, they're at 3, so I need to do one now. No. And then when they get to 5, I won't have to deal with it. But they're now back in this room, and they've decided to just back out and leave this for now until they are better prepared and they're not on a time crunch. They're going to go ahead and leave the dungeon, go back to the corridor, get to room B, which will be the room where they fought 4 skeletons. And there's these little niches in the corner. And the room is, 50 feet by 50 feet, it looks like. So a pretty decent sized room. We'll go ahead and roll to see if there's any encounters in there. That would be a 2. So that is not a wandering encounter, and it has been over, it's only been a week since they've been there. So we will go ahead and do that in the second big room they enter, which would be the next room down, which is room E. There is no wandering encounter in that room. I'm not going to do a unguarded loot or trap because it's been less than 2 weeks. Now, going to room F, that is going to be over 2 weeks. So when I get to F and room E again, E is for empty, by the way, then I'm going to go ahead and see if there is any unguarded loot or if there is a trap that has been placed there since they last were there. Okay, here is for that. So here's going into room E and F, where F was the room where they fought the sorcerer and they fought the I need to do a D. This is for the room E so we have a 3. We don't have that special encounter. We had the magic user that charmed the fighter and sent the fighter to its death to fight us, who is actually a 2nd level fighter, which could have been really interesting and fun if that would have happened. Now, when we do room F and E, that's going to tick over a turn, which means we're going to have, we've been through 2 rooms, so that's going to be a wandering encounter. We've gone 6 turns, that's going to be a wandering encounter. And we're going to have the bonus wandering encounter room. And I'll roll 4, 5, or 6 to see which room it is when we go there. Here's for the first one. So 2. That's not going to be for room F or the wandering encounter that way. Now we'll say room E has a potential of 1 or 2 having a rhyming encounter. That is a 5, so not there. Now I'm going to go ahead and do unguarded loot for one of these 2 rooms. This is on a 1 and 6. No. I'm going to do traps, 1 and 6. No. Now do we have this special encounter? And we do. Okay, interesting. So the special encounter was going to be like this. It was going to be the wizard they ran into before. So this guy is going to be the bandit that ran north. So we were using one of these overpowered looking Chronopia miniatures from an ancient war game called Chronopia. Came out in the mid 90s. And we're going to have 2 orcs. I need to roll to see if any of these have bows. 4, 5, or 6. No, 5 or 6 they have bows. So no bows. 2 melee orcs. And then we had the bandit, the orcs. Oh, Grimwald. And I believe this was Grimwald. So Grimwald, the party member who betrayed the party, has come back with the magic user to try and go after the party. This is going to be 4, 5, or 6 in room E, 1, 2, and 3 in room F. It's going to be in room E. Room E, this particular room E is 50 feet by 50 feet. So let me go ahead and do that room. We will get into the chance mechanics of this in just a second. Let me go ahead and switch my cameras. Okay, so this is room 50 by 50. It has a doorway that has no seal on it. That is 10 feet off of this wall that the party is going to be coming through. Next is going to be Oddberg. I'll just have him come off the map a little. And the torchbearer behind him. Then we're going to have, so we have Allura, we have Dwarfer, Oddberg, Torchbearer, which is all red. Then we have German and Ranilda. Now I need to go ahead and roll luck. High is lucky for the party, low is bad for the party. Lucky for the party, we have a doorway that is coming off over here. I'm going to say the doorway is open. I'm going to say that the party has stepped in here. Just kind of feeling out its space. The orcs are probably the last ones to enter the room because they're the least trusted. Matter of fact, I foresee them being kind of probably together and the bandit being over here like, nah, don't want to get that close. Ronilda probably wants Grimwald, who's probably the most reliable source of bad guy. So that's how the party is. Now I'm going to go and roll a monster reaction. So they already had negatives because they have fought or have been a part of scaring off everyone. They didn't fight him. He threw caltrops and ran away. They chased after them and let them go. So everyone in the party has seen this group at one point in time in the past. Grimwald betrayed the party, and they did 5 points of damage to this magic user. So he is not happy with them either. I'm going to give surprise checks for the party here. Let's give them a hear noise first. I rolled high enough with a 19. I feel like a hear noise, the party might be able to hear them first. So here's for Allura. That is a 3. No. Dorfer? No, that's a 3. Then we have Oddberg. No, I'm going to say no one else is going to get a roll because it wouldn't make sense for that much plate mail and then to hear a noise over it. I am going to do a roll for all red. This is going to be a 1 in 6 chance. No. And that was for something I'll talk about maybe later if I remember it. Okay, so no one hears. It's basically visual. Now it comes down to initiative. I don't know what the party's initiative over here is, so I'm going to roll 3d6. Now, this is part of the reason why I have ordered more dice, because I only have 2d6s. I thought when this set came in, I would get a total of 4d6, which would be perfect, and I only got 2, which is insufficient. So here's for what their dexterity is. The target number they have to beat is 9. We have a low dexterity group. Well, maybe it's different now. I do have 2 new players. So Oddberg is a 9. Ronilda is in the 10. Dwarfer is an 11. So we are up to 10. German is a 11. So we are 10.5. We have a 12. So we are a solid 11. And I'm not counting all red. The torchbearer. So now we're up to an 11. They have to roll higher than 11 on 3 dice. There's 6. They tied. So on ties, you don't have ties. You roll a d6. Here's for the party, 4, 5, or 6. They go first. So the party is going to go first. That probably just saved their life. Okay. So So Ronilda will be made aware, because it was based on visual, that there was a thing going on. So I'm going to say it probably happened here. Ronilda can't move forward and attack. I'm going to roll a d6 to see if any of these guys made any initial verdant movements to try and hide or move or step out. I'm going to say 1 is bad. So, if anything, they're going to step this way, which leaves the magic user kind of by himself. And that's to be expected. He's going to cast a spell. The bandit, though, is going to take a 5-foot step towards it. So he's not going to move. He can't really move and cast spells. Oddberg is not going to cast any spells. These guys aren't going to cast any spells because they're fighters. The torchbearer doesn't have any spells. So Ronilda's going to have to make a choice about what she's going to do. And the cleric is not going to cast any spells in the back. German, because he doesn't have spells yet. So they go first. I'm going to have this dwarf go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 5. And here's 6. And German here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's coming. Torchbearer is going to move here. Put his torch out there for light. Ronilda, what is she going to do? I say she's going to move forward and do her dagger. Anything but a 1. That is a 5. So she's going to release her dagger to attack. And the person to attack would be the magic user. 100%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This looks like a great place to tuck in next to the cleric. Now the question is she within 6 spaces to be able to attack the magic user? So here's 1, here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. Shakalaka. All right, so she's able to put the dagger into command and have a flying dagger go out and attack this magic user, which will effectively tie it in combat, preventing it from being able to cast spells. No one else could reach, but Ranilda with the dagger could. So she's going to throw the dagger out, give a command. The dagger is going to fly across the room and attack. I think I'll save her attack for last. Let's go ahead. Oops, this somehow got... Oh, it's going against the orc. So Dwarfer against orc. We're going to call it orc 1 with the Morning Star. 11 with a THAC0 of 19 will hit AC 8. That will not be enough to hit this orc. Allura will have a 13. A THAC0 of 19 means that hits AC 6. Yes, that's correct. And that will hit. So she does a D6 damage. She does a total of 6 damage. I need to roll how many hit points an orc has. Let me look. Let me make sure it's not 1 + 1 and it's like a half hit dice or whatever. The one thing we have not had is orcs in combat. We've had orcs run away. So orcs are 1 hit dice. So they will have a D8 hit points. I need to roll less than 6. And I do roll less than 6. So she is going to kill that orc. We're going to have Oddberg here smite, not the official smiting, just the word smite, attack aggressively this orc. He rolled an 11. He still has a 19 THAC0. That's going to hit AC 8, which will not hit. He's just going to look menacing with his mace and shield. And Ranilda's dagger is going to fly out. It is a +1 dagger. It's going to count as a melee attack, so no dexterity range modifier. And here's for the attack. 3. So that is going to miss the magic user. Now, it doesn't matter. Let me go ahead and switch cameras real quick. It does not matter that she missed, because simply being in melee with this will prevent the magic user from being able to cast spells. Doesn't have to hit in Holmes Edition. So it's not if you get hit, you can't cast. No, it's if you are in melee, you can't cast magic. So the magic user is not going to cast a spell. He's in melee with a dagger. He's going to take his staff and swat at the dagger and try and knock it out of the air, which can happen. The dagger has an AC of 3 and has 1 hit point. Here's for the attack roll. Let me go ahead and switch cameras real quick. Start with the magic user. Magic user rolled an 11. That will not hit. He is not level 1, obviously. He has at least 5 hit points. At least 6 hit points, I should say. But that will miss. Now, Grimwald will also come over here, knowing where his bread is buttered, and attack that dagger. A 13. Now, he is only a first level fighter. That means he's going to hit AC 6, which is not AC 3, which misses. The orc is going to attack Oddberg back. He rolls a nat 20, which means he will hit, and he'll do 2d6 damage. This is a bit scary. This is the second time frickin' Oddberg has been critically hit. So I am not super happy about this, because a 12 could actually kill him. This does not kill him, though. It does 5 points of damage. So he's at 6 hit points right now. Ugh. The only guy who can survive a critical hit doesn't have to be critically hit every time. The bandit is actually going to move up to the dwarf. He's going to attack Dwarfer. He's going to miss Dwarfer. Okay, we're going to go back around to the next initiative. Torchbearer is going to step up because everyone in the party is now ahead of him. I'm going to go ahead and have the cleric run up to melee the magic user as well. Ronilda is going to debate on what to do. She has a spell, but the question is, does she use it? So I'm going to roll a d6. 4, 5, or 6, she decides to cast Sleep. No. She is going to will the dagger to continue to attack. I will roll that first. 5 will miss, unfortunately. That is round number 2. I need to keep track of that. Okay, here is for German, though. Smiting the cleric. A 6 will also miss. Oddberg against the last orc. 17 will hit. He does a d6 damage. For 4 points, the orc has a d8. He has 2 hit points left. So I'm going to list this as orc 2. Neg 4 of 6. So he has 2 left. I'm going to have Dorfer go into the bandit. That will miss. I'm going to have Allura go into the orc. That will hit. And for 5 points of damage, killing the orc. Now, this will be a morale save for the bad guys. Because over 50%. Well, it is 50%. I'm going to give the magic user a charisma check. Nat 20, that is bad. That will be this will be a morale check at neg 1. Or reaction, I should say. So a 9 is high, a 8 is still fairly high. So they're not going to surrender. They're going to continue the fight, even with that negative. Bad guys go now. We have the bandits going into Dorfer again. They know that if the magic user gets free, this could be a completely different fight. That will miss Dorfer. I'm going to have Grimwald attack the cleric. He misses. I'm going to have the magic user try and move away and step over to here with a full defensive retreat. And I'm not going to give any attacks of opportunity. That's going to be his turn, though. He can't cast any spells. All right. So, now we go to the next round. Ronilda, will she move forward to keep the dagger in play? No. She's going to have the dagger attack Grimwald because she was there when Grimwald betrayed. Will Oddberg attack Grimwald or will he attack the magic user? I'm going to say he's going to attack the magic user. Grimwald will get there in a second, but they have to stop that magic user. He's fought him too in the past. So on a 1, he will attack Grimwald versus the magic user. So he's going to attack the magic user. It's a tight doorway. I'm going to say that Allura is going to go after... 4, 5, 6 goes after the bandit. Yes. She's going to turn on the bandit and help Dorfer kill the bandit. Okay. So, Ronilda will step forward to be able to get onto Grimwald and go after Grimwald with the dagger. Here's for the dagger. A 1. Normally we would have a dexterity check. I'm going to do an intelligence check to see if the dagger goes too far and loses animation. 14 is pretty good. It's pretty high, I should say, but I believe Ronilda is fine. Ronilda has a 16 intelligence. She is fine. She does not lose control of the dagger. The way it would work if it was a melee with a fighter, you'd roll under their dexterity to see whether or not they drop their weapon, type of thing. We're going to have German go after Grimwald. That's going to be a 13. Unfortunately, that will miss Grimwald. Grimwald has plate mail, so that's going to be AC 6, which is not enough. I'm going to have Oddbird go into the cleric. Now, he's the one that hit the magic user. He's the one that hit the magic user last time, and he missed this time. Allura into the dwarf, the bandit misses. Dwarfer into the bandit will hit. Bandit gets hit for 1 point of damage. Now, Dwarfer has a +1 weapon, making that 2 points of damage. Potentially, the bandit can die. Bandit has 6 hit points left. They're going to go back. Bandit into Dwarfer. Really trying to seek that revenge. He hits. We don't know how many hit points Dwarfer has. Dwarfer's not been hit yet. Here's for the attack roll. 3 points of damage. Dwarfer has a 15 constitution. So he gets a D8 +1. You reroll 1. So the minimum damage he could have is a certain number I won't say right now. So he has 6 + 1 for 7 hit points. And I'm going to write that down. So in case you don't know how I do this, you'll see it right here. Until they get hit, I don't roll their hit points. I don't know how many hit points they have. So he got hit for 3. Okay. Grimwald into German. Misses. I'm going to have the magic user realize he's cooked, and he's going to decide to take a hit and just run. Here's for Oddberg. That will miss, and he's going to run away. He's going to abandon the party here. Question is, will these two see it? Here's for a wisdom check. I'm going to just roll a general wisdom check. 6. They're going to realize they've been abandoned. Now, that's a morale check. They fail it. They're both going to go into... actually, the wrong way. 8 was still... Boy, I guess if I went one way once, I'm going to go the other way the other time. 8 should have been surrender. But since I didn't play it that way in my head, for whatever reason, I'm going to say that low is bad for this party, and they're going to surrender. So they're going to take, if they can hold back. Here's for Dorfer. He's been hit. So he's not going to hold back. He may throw an extra punch into this thing. 17 will hit. And, yeah, D6 damage for 3 points of damage, knocking the bandit down to -5 total. So he is down to 3 hit points. Allura's not been hit. She will take the surrender. Ronilda will call back her dagger. Mark that around. And Grimwald will gladly be taken into custody by Oddberg. And I'm going to say anything but a 1. They're taking them to the authorities now. Oh my goodness. Okay. So let me go ahead and look at what the group has been saying so far, if there's anyone watching right now. We have no new thoughts currently. I'm going to have to come up with some sort of, what are we doing? If we're not taking them back to the authorities, what are we doing? Okay. So first, let's take a second and let's do some healing. Oddberg's going to heal himself for a D6 plus 1 with Cure Light Wounds. So he's going to heal himself for 3 hit points. He's going to offer Dorfer a potion of Cure. I think he had that. Yes. So he's going to offer a potion of Cure for Dorfer. That does a D6 plus 1 for removing the hit points. So Dorfer's back to full hit points. Okay. Bandit is severely hurt. Okay, so we have a couple options here. We kill. Captive. That's a 1. Another one is leave behind. Say it's a 6. Take with. Let's say that's 2. It might be just be 4 things. I'm going to make this a 4. Oh my goodness. Literally had a spider drop from the ceiling and land on the table next to me. That's not good. I will have to get some spray in here. That did not. I don't know if the mic heard it, but that was a little terrifying. We have brown recluse around here, and I think that's what that was. So yeah, that's a little ugh, and I couldn't get to it before it ran off the thing. Yeah, I don't know where it went. It was a small guy. That distracted me. Okay, let me think about this for a second. Any suggestions from the gallery? Nothing. Assault gun, yes. Yes, definitely. Assault gun. If I didn't have to swing through a microphone, a camera, and a camera stand, I probably would have swatted it literally with my hand because I feel like I'm faster in it. But yeah, that's a little disconcerting. If you don't know, brown recluse are the type that bite you, you don't feel it, and then it starts to rot that area. They're a real nasty spider. They don't generally mess with humans, though. But if you roll over on them, they'll bite you, type of thing. Okay. So, fourth thing. Let me roll a d4. If I don't roll a 3, I'm not even going to think about it. Roll the 4. So, all right, we're going to leave behind. We're going to put him in this space here, tied up, bound. Actually, let's get silly. Put him in here and here. Tie him up. In the other room over here, there was tables. So we'll drag tables in here, tie him to the table, and then surround the table with caltrops. So we're going to expend 2 ropes. And I'm going to say a total of 4 caltrops. Which will be, if they somehow got into there, they will be slowed. It also will prevent things from getting at them. And I'm going to put them over here where the spider fell, quite literally. And we'll worry about that in a little bit. So they're going to be left behind. That's probably, it's slightly better than killing them. If they were to die here, some people might have to justify in their mind how they feel about that, because you did leave a person tied up inside a dungeon. Though these are both bad guys. One's a bandit, probably known at this point in time, and the other one literally betrayed you. So he left you behind. I don't see a big deal about it. This guy got away again. That's the second time. That's pretty big. We'll have to see what happens with that guy in the future. Okay. I'm going to... So we're at turn number 1, which is turn number 7. And we could get up to, 8 turns. So they're going to get over to room number I, lettered I, which is 50 feet by 80 feet. And I'm not going to try and put all that in there. I'm just going to essentially put it like this. And in there was a pedestal, which I'll just use as... Oh, I had the thing for it, didn't I? Something like this. And then there was a mask over the wall. This is a sundial. Party comes into the room. There's a room to the exit to the north and to the south, and you come in through the east wall. And on the west wall, there is a mask that is the size of a manhole cover. That is literally their description of what they look like. Oh, you have them in Oregon too. I get it. Yeah, they're pretty pervasive everywhere. I'm just not a huge fan. At work, when I worked indoors for 8.5 years in a place I'll talk about maybe someday, they would drop out of the ceiling and land on the desk near you or on you, and they were kind of bad. So I'm not completely surprised that just happened. But yeah, work where there's a much higher ceiling. I'm in an 8-foot basement ceiling. So yeah, this gives me the desire to get this sprayed down here for sure. After I clear out a bunch of it. Okay. 4 o'clock comes around. There's a torch sconce over here. We'll have the torchbearer put the torch in the wall. The light hits 4. The eyes are going to animate. Let me get the actual text of what it says. I've thought about what it is because we've read this room a couple times. I just haven't talked about it. So I'll read the room real quick. As in the flavor text, it says that doors in the north and the south and the east give an entrance to this room. In the center of the room is a bronze sundial with a low pedestal. Set into the stone of the west wall is a bronze mask about the size of a manhole cover. The eyes and mouth are shut. Below the mask in common is an inscription. I'll answer one question, no more. I never speak till it be 4, which is why they think they have to be here at 4 o'clock. The magic is activated by shining a light of a single torch, lantern, etc., onto the sundial so that the shadow of the gnomon falls on Roman number 4. The bronze masked eyes then appear and says, "Speak, I'll answer one question." Okay, it gives me a little bit more text. So I'm going to go ahead and say it. The eyes open. There is a dull glow to them. The mouth opens and it says, "Speak. I answer one question." Now, if you notice, I did change that just a little bit here. It says, I will answer one question. Okay. I want to make it a little bit more robotic. If you remember, was it the android from Data from Star Trek? He never spoke in conjunctions. He only spoke in "I will," "I have this," or "I have not this." He never said it I haven't. I have, like, he always spoke in like the straight conjunction with, so this is the thought process for the mask. Okay, so the party has to come up with a question. I'm going to ask Steven here to come up with a question, and I will try and answer it since he happens to be in the live stream if he's here currently. Yes, peppermint spray. I know exactly what you're talking about, by the way, there, Steven. So, peppermint plants are a thing that keeps spiders away. It's quite literally a thing. So, if anyone in chat, Steven or otherwise, has a comment or a question that they want answered about the module, go ahead and type something real quick. We'll spend a few seconds while I check something on my phone, and then we will go ahead and answer. Now, mind you, I don't know a lot about the dungeon, so I may not be able to answer it, but I will give the party a advantage if they run into this and it was a question that was asked. Okay, so we are good. I got 40 minutes until my daughter needs to be put down for a nap. We're going to try and get far in that 40 minutes. Looks like maybe Steve doesn't have... Oh, sorry. You've got nothing. Okay, well, let me do some questions. We're going to write down some possible ideas. We're going to do one about enemies, 2 about traps, 3 loot, 4 upstairs, 5 is going to be caverns, 6 secret doors. Okay, let's roll a d6, shall we? 6. We're going to ask about secret doors. I don't know if there are any secret doors. I would imagine there is. Let me take a quick look. I remember seeing something about a secret door when I was looking up C, I think, for caverns. So in number C, which C is for corridors, all corridors in this dungeon are 10 feet wide and 10 feet high. Then it says the magic user secret corridor S to F is 5 feet by 5 feet. It reminds me that you have wandering monsters every 3 turns. So S to F, which the party has taken several times, is actually a secret passage. I didn't realize that because it's not indicated by an S. Oh well, so we missed that. So that was the only secret passage I knew about. I'm just looking for anything that says secret. I'm not trying to dive deep into this. I don't know what's in the rest of this, but I don't think there's any more secret doors. So they will get the answer that the secret door they know about is there, and that it takes them to a stairwell upward. And it's not going to be effective or helpful at all. They can come back tomorrow and ask another question. I'll leave this note here. I'm just going to mark off the 6. So I can keep track of that. All right, so they know there's not anything here. They know that going north takes you to H. They do not know what takes you south. So I'm going to say on a 1, they will go back and around because they know that they go through room J, they can get there. And on a 4, 5, or a tooth or higher, they'll go south to try a new passageway. Here's going south. 4. So they are going to go south. They travel the basically 60 more feet, total of 80 feet of the room, to south to a corridor. I'm going to roll a random encounter check. We're going to be moving to round number 2. We do not have it. That was for corridors and for what was coming up just around the corner. Let me go ahead and read what this is because I don't know what this is at all. Oh. Oh, 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 oh. O'Reilly's, apparently. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get the party set up on their new route. Okay, so this room basically goes like that, and it connects to the bottom of this room like that. You can see that fairly well. I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way. That goes over here. Kind of put this out of the way. Okay. So they're going to go this way down a room, and I'm just going to kind of loosely put it in here. They're going to see that there is a form of light coming from the far end of this room. It's not exactly how I'm wanting it. So I'm going to kind of move this more this way. This room's not 100% to scale. Caverns are kind of a pain in the butt because it's really hard to get something like that to scale properly. So I'm going to draw it like this. And then we're going to have... I have more cavern stuff. They're all corners, so it doesn't help me at all. So we have this like this. Then we have another river right here. And on the far side, we have basically a little bit of a beach, and then it continues on north. These mushrooms are going to be glowing with light. There's several mushrooms in here. This room is filled with many mushrooms. Several of them are glowing. The land itself, the floor of this natural cavern is going to be sandy. The water does not seem to be too deep as they enter the room. I'm going to have them stay away from the mushrooms just because they probably don't trust that. And whenever Ronilda actually pay attention what's going on front, because this is brand new. I'm going to say luminescent mushrooms are something they've heard about in bars, but they probably have never run into it themselves. So this would be different. I'm going to use this for water. So this is water going by. It's mostly because it's blue. They can see the bottom of the water. The water is going by. It's a pretty quick moving stream, especially since it's so shallow here. But yeah, they can go ahead and go through it if they need. I don't know what kind of checks they'd have to make, or at least I'm not saying what kind of checks they'd have to make. But the party will, I'm assuming, go into this. I'm going to do a little bit of a 4, 5, or 6 to go into it more. Yes, they're not going to really hold back. They'll just go up to the water's edge. While this is new and interesting, it's not necessarily completely terrifying. It sounds like water. It smells like water. Feels like water. They feel it in their face. She's going to continue watching the glowing mushrooms behind her in that door, because now she's kind of got both in her field of view. And they're going to have to decide what they're going to do. Are they going to Tinder's floating disc across this? They would have to come back to do that. Are they going to try and ford the river? Are they going to take any precautions? They have lots of rope and grappling hooks, and they could do things like that. So I'm going to say on a 1, they're going to go back and memorize Tinder's floating disc and then come back. On a 2 through 3, they're just going to go through it. In a 4, 5, or 6, they're going to send one across and then like tether ropes and that type of thing. So here's for or at least the ones that they feel like need it. So they are going to just ford the river. They're not going to try and split the party. They're just going to go. So they're going to step into the river 2 at a time to make sure. They will bring a rope attached to people, especially Ranilda, who they cannot lose this way. And they're going to go ahead and cross the river. As they get to here, we have actions that are going to occur. Activities, I should say. Which room was this again? This is room L, right? Yes. So it says here another cave with a river running through it. There's a phosphorescent fungus that grow in the rocks so anyone can see without lights. There are entrances to the east and west as a river runs through it. There's a river with a sandy beach that is only 3 to 4 feet deep in the center of the channel that can be forded. As the party moves through the sandy beach and into the water, concealed underneath the sand is a large shelled creature that bursts from the sand. I'm using a little bit of my flavor text in here now, and immediately attacks anything that moves within 60 feet of it. So the first turn is going to be like a swirl of sand and splash of water as this thing's going to get attacked. I'm going to check to see if anyone's surprised. Here's for Dorfer. No. Here's for Allura. Yes. Oddberg. No. German. Yes. The torchbearer is not in the water yet, but he's not surprised. Ronilda is surprised. She's completely caught off guard. So everyone on this side is surprised. These two are not. I don't have a miniature for this here. I do have a miniature for this. I just don't know where it is. So I'm going to grab something and we'll use that. we'll just use a giant toad. I do have this exact miniature. I don't have it here. I bought some kids' toys. So I have a little kids' toy that does this perfectly. So the first round is sand bursting forward. And these two are going to be able to make attacks. So Oddberg will go around here when it's his niche. I don't know what this creature's dexterity is. I'm going to roll it. It's going to go after us. So it's going to make a big splash and then not be able to actually attack. So here's for Dwarfer. That will miss. And here's for Oddberg. Oddberg rolled a 12, which is going to be AC 7. And that will bounce off of the water and the armor plating of this creature. And this creature gets to go back. It's going to do 1 or 2, I'm guessing here. So Dwarfer will be odd. He will be the one attacked. A nat 20. Well, we had a dwarf named Dwarfer. That would be all of that, Dwarfer. Quite literally. Yeah. So let me go ahead and roll damage. It does 2 to 12 points of damage with its main claw. So here is 10 points of damage. Plus 3. So 13 points of damage. That would be enough to kill anything in the PCs. Dwarfer is going to be hacked in half. There's going to be a huge red mist as he is literally severed in 2. The top half of him is going to go flying back towards the torchbearer and land on the shore behind him. The bottom half is going to be pulled by the secondary claw towards the mouth, and the feeding will occur right in the middle of the combat as Dwarfer is killed by a giant crab. Holy Toledo, Dwarfer. That is terrible. Okay. Wow. That's what a creature to roll a 20 on, right? That's going to terrify everyone in the group. He's going to have a reaction to be able to come over here and attack. Ronilda is definitely going to send her dagger because we're not playing that game. So the dagger is going to go back out. We're in turn 4 of the dagger. Here's for Oddberg. Oddberg's going to roll 2. Here's for German. He's going to roll a 10. That's going to miss. Allura is going to roll an 11. That's going to miss. Here's for Ronilda with the dagger. That's going to miss. I'm going to say also it's going to be a little bit of a 5-foot step to get on the land. And then, yes, here's for the giant crab going back. I'm going to roll a d6 to see who it attacks. 1 and 2 is going to be Oddberg, 5, 6 being Allura. So he's going to turn and face, unfortunately, Oddberg. And he misses, thankfully. They're going to go back into this. I'm going to say German is of the same plan. We're going to try not to stay in this water. Here's for the 5-foot step on Allura, and they attack. A 13 will hit AC 6. That will miss. German will roll a 10. That will miss. Oddberg misses. Ronilda will roll a 4. I need to mark 2 another round. The crab will attack back. That will miss. They're going to step onto dry land. Oddberg's going to give room for German to get there. The torchbearer is going to take a step back. Ronilda's going to take a step back. That was for Ronilda. Here's for an intelligence check. They're fine. Here's for German. Misses. Oddberg. Misses. Allura. Man, we are having one terrible round of combat. The highest thing I've rolled is like a 7 or something like that, an 11. Here's for the giant crab again. Giant crab's going to attack and miss. They're going to step back and see if this crab will follow them out. They don't know. The answer is yes, the crab will follow them out. Will he change who he attacks? On a 1 or 2, he changes potentially. That's a 4. So he's going to go back into the fray here to attack the cleric. Next round of combat, Ronilda's going to move forward to make sure she's still in range. The torchbearer is like, you don't need my torchlight for this. They have light over there for the phosphorus shroom, so they don't have to worry about it. Here's for Ronilda's attack. She rolled a 2. Here's for Allura. That's a 7. Oddberg with a 9. And German with a 1. Here's for the dexterity check. Nat 20. That's going to automatically be discarded. He's going to send his mace slinging into the river and have to come up with a secondary weapon or run. What does the other side look like? There's a passageway that goes this way. There's a passageway that goes that way. Both of these are natural caverns. This could be bad. I'm going to go ahead and say Brunilda feels the desperation to do sleep if no one dies. Here's for the giant crab. 13. That will miss Oddberg. Barely. Let me make sure of that. The giant crab is not 1 hit dice. But it's not 4. So I think that would only hit if the crab was the 3 hit dice creature, which he is not. If I'm not mistaken, he needs a 14 to hit. So Oddberg is a 2, a 12, right? 13 is needed. Oh, you need a 14. 3 plus or 14. So a 2 or 3 needs a 15 to hit. So no, he is not a 4 hit dice creature, and he did not roll a 15. So we are fine. Okay, so Ronilla is going to go ahead and cast Sleep. It's going to do 2d8 hit dice worth of hit dice. That's 6 hit dice. The crab is actually only a 2 hit dice creature, so he's going to fall to the ground. Allura is going to then take her axe, I believe. Is that right? What do you have? Spear. And she's going to put it between the plates and do a coup de grace and kill the crab. Okay. Now, are they going to go back or are they going to go across? Here is 4, 5, or 6. They go across. They're going to go back. This is too much right now, and they're down a person. Do a quick search of the area. 4, 5, or 6. No, they're going to leave. They're going to come back probably and regroup. The goal is, again, to go ahead and complete this dungeon tonight. So one way or the other, I want to do that. I'm going to assume they're going to go back and resupply and pick up the 2 captives they have. Yes, I was going to say anything but 1. So they're going to leave the crab where he lays. They're going to go back, pick up the 2 captives, pick up their friend, take him to the surface, resupply, and pick up maybe a new person that they're probably going to have to pay because they just, they just went down today. So we will have a week of downtime and then come back. That's not going to play out in our world that way. Let me go and get everything set up, and I think it'd be a perfect transition for me to get my daughter to bed, and then we will continue. And probably go right back to here and continue. All right, so is there any problems with the 2 in the back? No, they are just fine. They're still peachy. Will they take the crab's claw? I would say yes. So they have no more crabs in the area. They're going to take the claw back, and that will be a feast and a story. I'm going to need a wandering encounter check because of time, and another one because of rooms. So here's for the time. Here's for the rooms. We have a wandering encounter. We're going to say it's in room B. Here's for what it is. Number 7. I'm not sure I've rolled that one. Oh, goodness. I have not rolled this one. 2. Interesting. I will have to get room B set up, and then we will have a quick encounter. I happen to roll a creature you don't have to worry about intelligence. 50 by 60. And there are 2 of them. But yeah, I literally do have a giant crab model. The little Dollar Tree type or Hobby Lobby type stores that you can go and get that type of stuff from. They have those plastic little like creature packs or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I have got some aquatic packages for like like, you know, sea animals, that type of stuff. So I got sea lions and all sorts of stuff. This shows doors. These are not doors. These are little alcoves. I just don't have small alcove 5-foot spaces. There's a doorway that goes out the north, and there's a doorway that comes through here. And this actually is an open door. I'm going to use a bashed down door to represent that. Let me grab that piece up, though. Wherever it went. Oh, there it is. Okay. Party is crossing through here. Grab Ronillo, carry the back. We'll have German step to the front. And what these miniatures are actually really good for, the barbarian looking dudes I've been using for bandits here, are berserkers. Caked in blood, dried, maybe some fresh, some wild maniac looking dudes come through the door. I'm going to give a monster reaction check at like -3. So they're going to potentially hold some words. And they're going to say, give us the bandit and your loot, live, basically. Something. And your kidneys or something. To which the party is probably going to say no. I'm going to give a charisma check. So they do a really good chance of charisma. I'll give this another check. If I happen to roll a 10 or higher, I'm going to say the berserkers are going to choose to leave. If they don't, then it will be a fight. And once berserkers fight, there's no more psych evaluations on that. If I rolled 9, so they are going to fight. If you had berserkers with other bandit types, they could be controlled. But 2 berserkers by themselves are going to basically amp themselves up into a fight and go. I'm going to say they have 8-inch or 8 square movement versus 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to say they have a higher than 11 dexterity, because that just makes a lot of sense. Not that two-handed swords matter, but I'm going to say that they do use a two-handed sword and still maintain like a 7 armor class. Here's for the bonuses to attack. Let me get the creature. I'm going to say at least a 7. I don't know. Let me look up the Berserker real quick, because it's a literal thing in the game. So I was right. AC 7. They're 1+1 hit dice. I do a D8 points of damage. Berserkers are simply men with a men mad with battle lust. Their force consists of only fighting men. When fighting normal men, kobolds, goblins, orcs, they add +2 to the strength roll due to their ferocity. They never retreat or surrender and will always fight to the death. No prisoners. That's what they say. So I'm going to say they get to go first. Here's for Oddberg. They rolled an 18. That would hit normally, but this hits automatically. So 4 damage is a lot, but Oddberg is still alive. He is down 6. He has 5 left. Here's for Allura. That will be AC 18, or it'd be a 17, which is what they need to hit AC 2, which is what she is. So they're going to do a D8 points of damage, which is more than she has. Roll D6 to see if it even matters. It does not matter. They're going to just smite her and take her out in a hit. We have no more spells that can be cast. They're going to move forward. The Torchbearer is going to reconsider life. Allura is going to go ahead and send her dagger out again. Sensing the desperation of this, she's going to she's going to hold Grimwald close to this thing, and the bandit, but move. I'm going to say she's going to give it like a 5-foot step every turn, and if they're still fighting, she will actually join in the melee, because it doesn't matter, or if someone else falls. She's either going to run away or jump in the melee herself. Let me go ahead and roll some dice. Here is for Oddberg. That's going to be an 8, which will miss. Here's for German. Oh my goodness, we need to stop rolling low. Here's for Ronilda. Ronilda, she has a AC THAC0 of 19. She rolled a 12. That is exactly what she needed, except for the fact that it is a +1 weapon, so she really needs an 11. So she does a D6. So she does 2 points of damage. I'm going to say the Berserker 1. So B1. I don't know how many hit points B1 has. I'm going to say a D8 +1 hit points. So a total of 7. B1's going to go back into Oddberg. I'm going to say it's cocked. 13 is going to miss. That's a 15 now. Going into German. That's a 4. That's going to miss. Going back into him. Here's Oddberg with an 18. So that's going to be a hit. He does 3 more points of damage, taking that to 5. Still has hit points left. Here's for Ronilda. So 16 will hit for sure. And she's going to do a D6 +1. And she does 7 points of damage by herself. That dagger is going to be lethal to that guy. The Berserkers do not surrender. They do not quit. This is going to be, again, with going into German. That's a miss. German going back into the Berserker. Oh, yeah, Ronel's going to step forward. That's going to miss. Here's for Oddberg with a 12. That's going to be enough to hit. He has no magic on his weapon, so it's just a straight D6 for 5 points. The Berserker has 1 hit point plus 1 for 2, so that's going to be death. Woo! Okay. I'm going to make a combat check to see, because of combat, if anything else came. They are near the corridors. No, nothing else comes. They're going to take the few. They're going to drag themselves up to the Green Dragon Inn. Yeah. What a bad day. Give me a second, and we will come back. Here's for the entrance. And we will come back to this part here. I'm going to go ahead and place some people here. I don't know. We'll find out what the party's makeup is in just a second. I'm going to roll 2 more times on the Green Dragon Inn. That has been the thing this entire time. A week is going to pass, so everyone's going to be healed up. The Crab Feast, I'm going to give a morality, charisma check. That is fine, because I remember we had a decent charisma on Hodberg. So I'm going to go ahead and say that they are paid handsomely for the claw, which provided a tremendous amount of seafood for them. I'm going to say that they got this riddle once. It's going to be 100 gold, because they want to mount it in the Green Dragon Inn. So we're going to have 100 gold and food, which will be a huge story, obviously, for everyone involved. I'm going to put my daughter down to bed, and then I will be back in a minute, and we will dive back into this, and I will roll to see if we're going to go up the spire or if we're going to go into where the natural cave is. Give me 1 second. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Drink some of my drink real quick. So, let me switch cameras real quick to the narration one. Oh, thank you, Steven. I'm glad you stuck around that long. Yeah, I think it's a good one. Hopefully, I'll finish this one tonight, though I have a feeling I won't. We've answered a lot of the questions. However, I have to resupply because I lost 2 party members, which is tough. And that natural cave that crab was brutal. 2 to 12 points of damage. 2d6 damage is so insane. If that crab had a higher ability to hit, that would be absolutely devastating. Thankfully, it doesn't have that, though. All right, let me go ahead and switch to the other camera, not this one. Excuse me. There we go. We're going to restock with the green dragon in. Let's see what we get. I rolled a 9. A 9 is one of those ones where you get one of those new things. So I'm going to do so we have Todrick and we have Indo. 4, 5, or 6 is Indo. That is a 2. So this is Todrick. Todrick is a magic user with a pet. So he. I haven't rolled. 1, 2, female. 5 would be a male. He, because Todrick could be either way. He has a warhound because he's a magic user. He didn't have. He had too much money. What could I spend it on? So I decided to spend it on buying a warhound. Warhound is something that you could buy according to the rules. So with 120 gold, what else is he going to get? He has a 15 intelligence, which means that he has a 75% chance to know a spell. So we're going to just write that right here in the back. Obviously, we're going to start with sleep. Oh, how many spells can he know? 6. 6 and then 10 max. Here's for sleep. 31, we have sleep. That's, as we know, one of the most important spells. We're going to do detect magic. 19. Magic missile. 24. Shield for a 9%. Charm person. 49. We're just saying what we want and rolling it. And light. Of course, 99. Old portal. Yes. Or old portal. Okay, so that's good. And we're probably going to take sleep straight off the bat because why would you not? Now, this is going to be number 16. So we'll have Todrick Miller. The abilities are human magic user, 10 strength, 15 intelligence, 8 wisdom, 10 dexterity, 7 constitution, so almost a negative constitution, and a 13 charisma. And he has Freckles, the dog, the warhound, which is going to be a 1+1 hit dice creature, AC 8, and does a bite for a d6 damage. And if you're wondering, it costs 40 gold to buy it, and then it requires its own food source, which I have counting as 3 gold, not 5 gold for a week. Here's for the secondary PC. We're going to go with number 6. That's another one of those we've already rolled, so I'm going to go ahead and have the other one, Indo, will step into that role, because I'm not going to try and re-roll a bunch of things. I kind of like having a couple floaters to fill in spots where you already have it. That means I probably will do this again. I just will remake this with 10 and have 2 floaters. And I think we'll go that way. Indo is a thief. He is a human thief. He is a male. I mean, it was intended to be male. Has a 15 strength, a 6 intelligence, a 13 wisdom, a 15 dexterity, an 8 constitution, and a 13 charisma. So he is probably one of the very few we've ever had that actually had 2 high stats dealing with melee or that type of stuff at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and have him using a bow either way. So I need to get me a human thief with a bow and a magic user. He is number 17? Yes. So let me get two more characters. Just so everyone knows I wasn't lying, there is the spider. I just killed him. Sorry for you to see that nasty spoon. But he just fell. And I broke the spoon, killing him. That fell. He crawled out from underneath the thing I moved. I'll look at what he is later. Maybe I'll take a picture of him. So everyone knows I wasn't lying. I'm so glad to kill him. Because I didn't actually want to get bit by him. Yeah, I went to move a piece of my phone, actually, and he crawled out from underneath my phone. So he went from this side all the way around here and came out over here. Or I have 2 spiders of the same type and size. All right, let me take a look at this real quick. I need a magic user and a thief. Oh. Bingo, bango, bongo. I got both. Here is my thief. This is from Hordes? War Machine? I can't remember. One of those 2. Pioneer Press, I think is the name of the company. There's also a Warhound, which I have. Do I have? That Warhound's still a little too fierce for what this is. And here's my new magic user. So that will be Indo, which I think is a perfect name for that. And then Todrick. Todrick in the blue. So let me go ahead and get this out of the way. So I keep track of that. And oh, where is, I need to get Allura, who died by Berserker. You write that on there. So if you don't know, I've been keeping track of how people have died. Here's Allura. The halfling fighter. Ugh. So unfortunate. Died to a berserker. So we had one die to a crab, one die to a berserker. What a day. Now, before we get into this dungeon, I'm going to go ahead and write the order of who's going first. We're going to have German go up front. We will have Indo in the middle. We'll have Oddberg move up front. Torch. Then we will have Indo, because he's going to be using the bow, and Ronilda. Indo is the magic user, right? Oh, I put Todrick up there. We'll put Todrick up there, and he'll switch with Indo once he casts his sleep spell. That way we have a defined, we'll cast this spell early. Because Indo's not getting into melee anytime soon. At least that's not the plan. So we are high damage, but we're going to be having to try and get away from stuff because we don't want to get swarmed. For sure. So we'll approach this like this. Todrick, Ranilda, and the thief. And the thief will move up to check doors, that type of procedural stuff, as normal. But we have a couple things. Does Grimwald have anything of value to pass on to us? I'm going to say yes. Will he do it? I'm going to do a D6 check. 4, 5, or 6. Yes. No, he's going to hold on to that. But he does have information. So I'm going to write Grimwald has info. So he has leverage of some nature. I'm going to say in this week is this unknown magic user going to be more of a threat. I'm going to do a 1 in 6 chance. No. So magic user still out. Okay. We're going to do the, is all red going to go back? I'm going to do a charisma check. 15 is high. I'm going to say there's a potential that Oddberg can't keep the torchbearer. The torchbearer is just going to dip out overnight, and all red is going to decide to go a different route. His heart is not in it. But he didn't abandon the party in the middle of a dungeon. So, not the worst guy in the world. Leaves the party after a fight in the Green Dragon Inn. So they need to find a new torchbearer. I'm going to roll a d10 real quick. We'll pull from the West Hills. Number 8. Oh. Okay. So they pick a new guy. He's a thief, human, male. He has an 8 strength, a 10 intelligence, a 7 wisdom, a 16 dexterity, an 8 constitution, and a 10 charisma. And he's an executive with grit. So he is a very decisive type of person. And his name is Oddard Cheeseman. Interesting. So he's going to be the new torchbearer. Mark him out. And I will do a full character sheet on him later, if we ever end up continuing this thing. Considering we haven't gotten very far, I have a feeling that no matter how much I want this to be done today, we might have to go a different route. Unless my wife works incredibly long and I get like 3 hours of playtime. I don't foresee that being a future, though. Okay, so we have a new torchbearer. So Allred, who, if you didn't know, was evil, has left the party without betraying the party and without doing it. We've had a problem with torchbearers here recently being evil. He was the second one in a row. Or second out of 3. Yes. So, yeah. Actually, yeah, it was. Yeah, because Grimwald was the first. He became a party member. Then he betrayed the party. Ronilda was the second. And then Allred, was the third. And he was evil. So Grimwald and Allred were both that. Now, the magistrate's going to deal with that. They're going to still try and extract information. What's going on? You live down there for 4 weeks. Tell us what's going on, you creep. Okay, we're going to go back into the dungeon a week later. Everyone is healed up. All spells are regained. We're going to figure this out and go from there. Okay. The question is, are we going to continue pushing into the natural caverns, or are we going to go upstairs? I think we are on a 3 or higher. And then on a 1 or 2, we're going to go up the tower first. Here is for that. We have a 5. So we are going to continue. We're going to go past, what was that, room L, where the giant crab was, for loser, apparently. And then we will go ahead and see where that takes us. I'm not going to redraw that room because I think we know what that looks like for right now. I want to make sure there's no loot in here I missed. Yeah, it says here, it strikes with its giant claws one at a time as fast as a man, doing 2 to 12 points of damage per hit. Oh, so brutal. Okay, there is no loot in there, just the XP for killing the beast. And because he does so much damage, I'm just going to consider that to be extra, like an extra ability, like a bow, because that's insane. Now, Tinder's floating disc. Did one of them take it? Yes. So we have 1 sleep and 1 Tinder's floating disc. I think only 1 can cast it. Can Todrick cast it? No. So only Ronilda can cast it. So Ronilda will take Tinter's Floating Disc. Ronilda will keep the sleep spell. So he won't do a fast sleep because they are planning on not having a secondary sleep. So we're back to here. We have to roll a d6. That's a 5, so there's no encounter. I'm not doing the d6 or d8 roll yet because the magic user's still out. And that's what that roll indicates as a potential combination. That could be you're in a fight and you have that magic user with additional people, which would be absolutely death. So we're not doing both right now. We're going to go ahead and continue. Now we're going to go probably back to the letter L room to check out what's going on with that crab, if there's any more around there, or if anything came up to eat it. So on a 1, we'll go through room J. On a 2 through 6, we'll go through room L. We are going to go back to room L. I need to roll some encounter checks before we go back that way. Okay, so again, breaking out the map, which is mostly clear to us. So it means you essentially have seen it all. We've had a random encounter check there. We'll have to have 2 random encounter checks here, and I'll do 2 more for I and L. So we're going to do 3 total random encounter checks, plus we're going to be doing some rounds. So here is 2 rooms, is just passing through it, not really searching. It's going to be kicking that to a 2. Random encounter check. No. Excuse me. But now we could have potential of having abandoned loot. Yes. Is it trapped? No. So, let me roll luck. How lucky are we? We're pretty lucky. That's not bad luck. So I have a little system I've been rolling on. It works kind of like this. There are loot that you can get from what I would consider a single person that has the potential for monsters or for magic. And then there's a lot of loot that you can't. So pretty decently in the middle here, I'm going to say that this will have 2d6. So 4. There's going to be a total of 4 gold in value. Is it going to be gold pieces? No, it's going to be mostly gold. So I'm going to say that they find a sack, and it's going to have some rotten food and that type of stuff, where apparently someone was and left this thing. But in there, they're going to find a smelly, yucky bag, a coin purse in there that only has 4, it has like 10 silver and 3 gold pieces in it. So it's going to be gross, but it's going to be, a little bit of gold. I'm just going to write down. Where's my... Okay, I'm going to write down what I've been killing here. Give me a second. So, actually, I'll just keep that. I'm just going to cross this out. So we have a giant crab. We had 2 berserkers. A bandit. Orcs times 2. Grimwald. Or, yes, Grimwald. Magic user. Okay. 100 gold for the claw. Puzzle. Times 1. We'll get it again here. So I'm just going to put a check mark here. And then and I'm going to say that's for the 3. Because it's going to affect how much XP we give. Because the new party members won't get that XP. What else did we get? Anything? I think that's it. So I'm going to put that over here. Now we have 4 gold. 4 gold pieces. And I don't know if you can hear my 2 big dogs barking. They're barking at the neighbors or something. But they're big, so you might actually hear them. Okay. We're going to have another one. This is for room, what was it? F and E, another E. So here's for a D6 roll. No wandering encounters. This is technically room E could have it that way, but we're not doing it this way right now. We've been through it quite a few times. Unguarded loot? No. Traps? No. We're going to go back to I and L. Here's for a wandering monster. No. And unguarded. No chance of unguarded loot yet or traps. Okay, so we are 3 turns in. So we're going to have a normal wandering monster encounter. That is a 6, so we are good. We're going to do another question. If anyone is here now and they have a thought on what question we want to ask the mask, this would be a great time for it. Give me 1 second. Let's see if there's anyone currently watching. It says I have 1 current viewer. So if there is a viewer that has a question, you're welcome to it. Maybe Justin, who has joined us here recently. That's nice to have you over here. I'll give it a few seconds, and then we will ask a question. I'm going to go back to my list. Justin, I don't think you were here for this, but I created this list of potential things. So I'll let you pick from there if you want. Secret doors could be one, but I marked it off so I didn't roll the same one a bunch. But we have the caverns, like ask a question about the caverns. What's upstairs? Loot, any particularly well-known things. We might already have it. Traps, any other traps that we don't know about, and enemies, if there's anything particular about an enemy. And I'll kind of work that way through it. So give me a second here while I go ahead and get room L built back up. I have a little bit more of my drink. If you remember, I had used a bunch of these. This, and we had like this, and then I had one of these corner pieces like this, And then we had a long corridor off like this, which I'm not going to even try and push on the map. Well, I'll kind of move things when I get like that. I'm going to switch cameras real quick. We have no thoughts on it, so I'll go ahead and just do a roll. Okay, so this is actually like this. And the river is going this way. Here's for a d6 roll. We're going to ignore sixes. 4. So what's upstairs? I'm going to do 4, 5, or 6. Anything of value upstairs. 1, 2, 3. Any major bad guys upstairs. That might be a weird one to answer. So we're asking about bad guys, not loot. Never in the history of ever asking about stuff from things that people use oracles for do they never ask about loot. It's always about loot. Where's the treasure? Do the keys of Solomon, do they do stuff this way or that way? Okay. I'm sorry, it's taking me a lot to read here real quick. I am thoroughly confused. I am sorry. I have to read this again. Okay, I found the information I was looking for. Oh, my goodness, that was tough. There's a single line in like 4 paragraphs you have to read. Okay. Um, I'm going to do 4, 5, or 6. it's going to give one answer, and 1, 2, or 3 is going to give another. Give me a second. So they get to the magic mouth. They ask the magic mouth, what creatures live up in the tower? And the mask is going to take a few seconds to interpret that, because it has a couple answers it could give. So it has to fall back sort of on its remote or rote programming. The spell would have conferred it. And it says, the betrayer lives upstairs. The betrayer. Interesting. So someone who betrayed someone lives upstairs. Now the party has to decide what they're going to do with that information. They have Grimwald. That's not the betrayer. There's no one else has betrayed the party. So who did this person betray? They can't ask that question. At least not today. So I'm going to do a 1. They leave and come back, because that's a very important piece of information. And if they leave right now, they're just going to come back tomorrow. On a 2 or 3, I'm going to say they're going to go upstairs. And on a 4, 5, or 6, they're going to go right next to where they're at and check out more of that caves. All right, let me switch cameras real quick. Man. All right. That is a 6. They are going to continue into room L and search out what they have here, what's going on, what their thoughts are on this thing. They go back into the water. The crab's remains are still there, untampered. Nothing else jumps out at them. Everything is good, right? Maybe? To the right of the room on the other side, you don't even have to make a check, which is weird, because in room H, the other room that had water, you had to make a check, and it was devastating. If you failed it, you could end up in the further downstream, which this is further downstream, and you'd be potentially thrusted into this fight with this crab without having any of your friends around you and being disorientated. Can you imagine that outcome? Oh my goodness. Okay, so the party's over here on the far side. We have Oddberg and German, and then we have Todrick, Indo, and Ronilda still in the water, and the torchbearer is standing there with her. And they have to decide if they're going to go this way into the cave, or they're going to go that way into the cave. So 4, 5, or 6, they go left. They're going to go to the right. Interesting. I'm going to say it looks more like this. I have a couple of these in my hands. I say he would step this way. Indo would be over here. Torchbearer would be here. And Ronilda's over here. We're going to get this out of the water. Down this hallway, there's more luminescent mushrooms that can be seen within a larger room. Again, this is not tiled floors. This is a sandy floor bottom, just like the other room L was. I need to have this damaged thing on here. We're on 10 new rounds, so we have no. Rondilda has all the attacks she could possibly need from that. So this is going to go like that. And then actually, over here, we're going to have more water. This time it's more like this. And then this will be more like this. And again, if I had a map where I was drawing this out, I could probably do this even a little bit better. And that's something to really consider moving forward. I think that's an interesting look. Like that. And then over here, kind of, not like this, like this. There's a little beach over here. And it kind of dead ends. It's not exactly the true shape of the room. Let me go ahead and read into this more. I believe there's going to be more luminescent mushrooms in this one. It seems to be a theme in this part. A cavern with about 10 feet high, irregularly shaped with a river running through it. There is a shallow beach where the Fothsome River is deposited. There's an exit to the west, which is where we came in. Oh, I take that back. There is no mushrooms in here. The room is completely dark, and without a light source, you have to feel your way out. Is that right? Yes, that is right. Party is going to decide what to do. They've had bad luck here already. Are they going to go into this water again or check it out? So here is for the 4, 5, or 6. They're going to go check out this beach, search the room, spend some time in here. Here's for crossing the river first. No, they're not going to go over here. Probably not necessarily the worst idea in the world. Are they going to search this area? Yes. Yes, I would say they are. So we're going to spend 2 turns here, taking this to a 5, and search this room. Here is 4. We have no dwarfs, no elves. So we need a 1. We have a 1, and there is nothing. There's no loot on this side of the shore of the river, and there's no secret passages. So they've spent their turns and have learned that there is nothing. So they're going to go back out to the west. Let me go ahead and tear all this down. And they're going to head west. Don't need this for a second. At least. All right. I'm going to go back and look at this map. So the room is going to be kind of wobbly. So I'm going to do this. And then I will do this. I'm going to say probably in this area. And then it opens into a large room. And right along here, there is more of that river. And it's going to continue this way. And this is room number M. And I'm going to have to read this one because I don't know. It says a large sea cave. So this is going to be salt water coming in here. We're going to have an underground cave that will probably open up, I'm assuming, into like the ocean area. There's a large sea cave with entrance to the north and south. The south is the one we're coming in. There's a sandy beach in which are drawn 2 rowboats. The entrance to the sea to the west is about 500 feet. I don't understand that. The entrance to the sea is to the west, about 500 feet, period. I'll continue to read. If it is a day up above, the cave will be dimly lit by sunlight coming through the tunnels. Okay. If it's night, the torches in hand will be occupants, will create a glow. Okay. So there are 2 rowboats over here. It is daytime, so there is a little bit of a dim glow coming out. I'm assuming that this cave goes out 500 feet to the ocean. So it's not like you're on the edge of the cliff. You're deep within the cliff. You can just see the ocean coming out farther. Sorry, I'm reading real quick here. Okay, so it seems that the party has interfered with the landing of some people who are bringing 2 boats to the shore. I'm going to use these tables as boats. The room goes this way more, so I'm going to roll a d20 and see how lucky we are. 7. So I'm going to say here. And getting off the boat is a d4 plus 1 pirates. So only 2 pirates, which is odd. So there are 2 pirates. Down this way, there are more boats. Farther back down that way that are coming into this tunnel area. But with them, there is a female who is bound, gagged, and restricted and all that. Give me 1 second. She's not an elf. I'm going to put that in here. Also, sort of a fun one. I have a pretty cool looking pirate. Unfortunately, he's kind of got to be repainted. Someday I'll give the story about that miniature. I probably will never repaint that one. I'll probably just keep the story and then get that miniature again someday. But that's a whole different thing. So there is a bound female with these two pirates, and one of the boats apparently is there, and the pirates have moved off. Then these two are getting ready to take her to shore, and there's, like I said, more boats this way that seem to be fighting the tide. So the party has to make a decision. There's going to be an encounter check real quick. So they are going to be presumptively cooperative with the party. I'm going to assume, looking at this, that they're going to tell the party to move along and mind their own business. I don't think that's going to work. I'm going to give a wisdom check for the party to be able to see what's going on with this female. That's going to be enough. Wisdom check is just a stat check. The two clerics are up front. They're going to know immediately this is wrong in the Lord of Light's eyes. We are not going to put up with this. And they're going to march forward demanding they explain why they have a captive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll stop here. Magic user's going to step over to here. Torchbearer's going to bring just a little bit of light in here. Thief is going to come here because there's no need to get any closer. Ronilda, with her unfortunate Tinder's floating disc that they have not used, is going to step over here. More here. And she's going to draw the dagger, but not send it. And I'm going to give these guys a morale check. Or not necessarily morale, but are they going to cooperate with the party? So they're going to pull a knife and point it at the girl and say, if you come any closer, we will kill her. And then start to move this way. So by doing that, I'm just going to move everyone back. And keep them the same. That's not going to do well. Because we're going to just immediately drop a sleep spell. I think. 1 in 6 chance not. Oh! Nope. Not wasting sleep spell on 2 pirates and some random girl. Todrick, you have to explain that one to me later. I don't understand. Todrick's going to yell, get him! Or something. And they're going to go ahead and attack. So, I'm going to roll initiatives for the pirates. They don't go before the party. Oddberg's going to go there. Grimwald's or German's going to go there. Ronilda's going to move forward and send the dagger. Torchbearer's not going to go anywhere. The magic user's still going to be doing his thing. And then we'll have him grumble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because he can't get into anything with anyone because they immediately got in melee with everyone. He can't shoot in the melee. So Indo does not have a spear. So he will not attack this turn. But he will attack next turn. Alright, so here's for Oddberg. That will hit, actually. So he's going to do a d6. That's 3 points of damage. The bandit, the pirate, everyone said, has 7. P1 got hit for 3 and has 7. And then here is for German. That will be a miss. The dagger against Oddberg's nat 20. So it's going to do 2d6 points of damage for a massive 7 points of damage, killing that pirate. I don't know which one had the blade on it. I'm going to put a dagger here. 4, 5, or 6, it was that one. Okay, so he did not have a dagger pulled on the girl. He was going to be attacking. So he will go into German. That will miss. And then, of course, everyone will pile in. Here's for Oddberg. Missed. The thief. Indo. Missed. And then for German, that will miss because he needs 7. I need to roll a morale check for him. He's going to continue to fight. Here's for the dagger from Ranilda. 18. Man, she is just tearing things up right now. She does 3 points of damage because it's magical. He has 7 hit points. So P2 got hit for 3, has 7. He's going to attack back. That's going to be a miss. Here's for Oddberg. That will be a hit. Oddberg's going to do 6 points of damage. So between Ronilda and Oddberg, they have killed both the pirates. Now, we're going to have to make a check for her. That is a 9. I'm going to give her a charisma check. That's a 13. That makes its charisma. They're going to at least ungag her and find out what her things is. She's going to say, free me so I can fight these vermin. I think the party will take that under advisement and will free her, I'm assuming. But we're going to do a 1 in 6 chance they don't. They are going to go ahead and free her. She pulls a dagger and turns towards the pirates if they come. They have not come yet. I'm going to roll a check at the end of that combat. They do not make it against the waves. The party has to decide what they're going to do. They can see the boats coming, but they just haven't made it in from the huge tidal thing they're facing inside the canal coming in. And the 2 boats that are there is a chest. Oh, I misread. Hold up. Wait a second. Oh, okay. Not a big deal. Okay, so I'm going to do a little retcon here. From the other side of the room, I'm going to have a band of pirates that should have been in the boats attack. They're going to see that their friends are cut down, and they're going to immediately attack. I'm going to go ahead and move some stuff around here. Because there should not have been a D4+1. That's the reinforcement roll. What there should have been is 4. So there's going to be 4 pirates that are going to be attacking immediately as the party is dealing with this. Now the prisoner is free. They've already fought 2, so there's some of that already to be had. And everyone's kind of over here, and the torchbearer's looking around. And I need to roll a wandering counter check in a turn, which would be interesting. But from over here, we're going to have, it's like this, right? Essentially. Imagine all this is water, including this over here. This is all water. There's boats here. And then from over here, there is an exit. I'm going to say over here. I don't know if any of that's making out. Yeah, you can see that. It's perfect. Over here is where the bandits are coming. Not the bandits, the pirates. But that is why there are so many pirates in this area and bandits in this area, is because they're all pirates, which is interesting. And the first, the room that had the fighter in it, that he took the sword that Allura was using until she died. Not Allura, Dorfer was using until he died. That sword came off of a pirate that was captured from one of these groups that was a level 2 pirate. So that's kind of like the little tie-in of this. So 4 pirates are going to come out. I'm going to give the party a hear noise. Here's for Oddberg. I'm going to do a 1, 2, and 3 for the whole party. I'm not going to roll for each individual character. So no one in the party heard it. Pirates are going to, are they going to have any forewarning? No. So they're going to come in here, see that the pirates have been killed. The slave girl is free to save the damsel in distress, right? And then the party is there. So they're immediately going to run into the room. 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then essentially come here and come here and come here. And now we're going to roll to see what their dexterity is. Here's for their dexterity guy beating 11. There's a 9. Probably a good chance. They are going to go first. So they're going to crash into Oddberg, crash over here, unfortunately, to the magic user, crash into Oddberg again. And then is he going to run to the girl? 4, 5, or 6, he goes to girl. 1, 2, or 3, he goes to Oddberg. 1, 2, or 3. So I'm going to say that one of them has a spear. And he's going to attack through his own people at Oddberg. Here is for attacking the magic user. Oh my goodness, not 20. 7 points of damage, which is more than he has available to him. He had 2 hit points. He is dead outright. Sleep is gone. We have a lovely Tinder's floating disc. So we have lost Podrick already. Jiminy Christmas. All right. She is immediately going to attack with the dagger at the one who is not in melee. That will miss. Indo is going to step back and shoot his bow at the one not in melee. That will hit. He does a d6 points of damage. For a point, the pirate has 4 hit points. Let me check that real quick. Okay. Now, going back, and she's going to pull a dagger and immediately charge. And German will go directly into this bandit now, ruining his shot, potentially, or future shots, because he wants to not have him go after the Ronilda. Here's for German. 1. Oh. He had a chance to get a new mace. Oh my goodness, he rolled the same thing again. He's going to launch his mace across the room. He'll probably have 4, 5, or 6 have a backup weapon because he had this problem before. No. So he's going to have to figure out something. Maybe grappling, which we've never done. Because he just launched his weapon across the room. Here's for Oddberg going into the one with the big sword. That's going to be a miss. Here's for her attack into the pirate. That will miss. And Ronilda has not gone. Yes, has gone. It's next turn. Going into German. That will miss. Going into Oddberg. First one. Second one. Third one. Misses. Ronilda's going to back up. Send a dagger into this one. Miss. German. That will hit for 3 points of damage, which is enough to kill it. So P3 is dead. Oddberg into the one with the sword. That will miss. The female will have to see if she keeps her dagger. Oh my goodness, we keep rolling 1s and 20s. She's going to send her dagger careening off the way, has no more weapon in hand. The first pirate's going to go into Oddberg. That will be a miss. Second one will hit. Third one will miss. Oddberg takes 1 point of damage. Okay. He is going to move. So that would be what he would have done. Or probably here. And the next turn he'll be over here. Because now he can shoot that guy. I'm going to give him partial cover. It's a neg-2. But he's using a spear. He's not actually technically in melee in that way. So he's able to be shot. Nat 20. So I don't know why I'm re-rolling again. As if I got to confirm it. He's going to do 5 points of damage. The bandit has 3. So this bandit is just going to die. It's going to immediately force a morale check, which they will continue to fight on. Here's for Oddberg. That'll be a miss. German. Miss. She's going to back off because she has no weapon. Oh, wait. She'll go from here to here and grab his spear. Here's for a dexterity check. She grabs his spear to rearm herself. Next turn, she can attack. They are going to go first, going into Oddberg on both these because they're really tired of him. 15s would normally hit if it's a berserker, but will not hit because they're just pirates. He's going to pull his spear and move forward to attack. He will miss. German. So Indo misses. German misses. Oddberg hits with a 19. He does a point. It has 6 hit points. So I'm going to call this P5. Make 1 has 6. She's going to stab P5 and misses. Ronilda is going to move closer, of course, and send her dagger. Will she make an intelligence check? She's fine. Next turn of combat. Oh, actually, good guys get to go. Here is for Indo. That's a nat 20. Taking the spear, thrusting it into P5, doing more damage than it has life. Killing it. This will be another morale check. He will surrender. And I think the 2 clerics of light will do it. Will she accept the surrender? Yes, she will make a good charisma check. But she will bind him herself. And then she will say, we need to get out of here. Okay. We have lost a party member. They want to get off the beach at least. Are they going to take the loot? Anything but a 1. So yes. There's 2 chests, 1 in each boat. They're going to take the 2 chests. And they're going to leave out the south way because they know that way. They assume that goes maybe towards J, but they don't fully know. And they're going to dive back and see if anything follows them. Here's a percentile check to see if anything even gets close. No. It's a 25% chance that they will advance to the beach during that period of time, just so the viewer knows what that is. I'm going to go ahead and say they're going to move away from the natural caves, probably leave that there. And she's going to know some information, so I'm going to switch cameras real quick. Poor Todrick. He was here for such a short amount of time. One second. Yes, son. Yep, give me 1 second. Right there. All right. Bye-bye. As you might have just heard on the thing, I have to go let my son in. Give me a second and I will be right back. And then we will go over the little role play of what we got here. Let me clear out this map so I can have space. And I'll be right back. All right, so I think what we're going to do is wrap it up here. We have the tower left. They get back, look at the map, they're going to realize that does go around. I don't think there's literally anything. They're going to realize they're within like 15 feet of filling out the map in that way. and the risk of having things come from the shore or the pirates being there is a problem. What they're going to learn from the girl is quite a bit. So the prisoner's name is, she calls herself Lemunda, Lemunda, and she's going to be known as the Lovely. This a kind of a thing they did back in the day. They always did these little titles that they added to people. So like in T1, when you have Village of Hamlet, you have so and so the Beautiful, and you know, that type of thing. In that case, he was a bad guy, but in this case, not necessarily. She will tell the party that her father is a powerful lord in a local area, and it actually says in the city above. She is skilled at fighting and has a desire to come here and rid this area of this evil. So even against, I'm going to say, her father's will, which I will give a D6 roll, I'm going to say she's going to join the party to come back down here and do this, to end this evil. However, her family would be willing to get her back. So either when the party is done with the dungeon, if she goes back, the party will get paid. Or if they just have her go back now, the party will be paid. It just says we'll be very grateful to get her back. What does that mean? I'm just going to have to come up with something. There's not a lot there. Now, we have a thief, so I'm going to go ahead and make a roll real quick to see if that's there. And I'm going to switch cameras real quick while I do this. To the narration so you can see the dice rolls as I do it. Here's for check for traps. 27. I actually need to look that up. Give me a second here. I remember right. I don't even have to get into the AD&D book. There is something here. It's a very small something. They have, yes, here it is. Explanation of thief abilities, right here. You can see here, A, B, C. So this will be an A because it's level 1. Remove traps is a 10%. Yep, terrible. Let's go for one chest. The other chest is a 72. So they're not going to know that either way. I'm going to give a wisdom check to see if the thief knows anything about it. There's no way he has a 16 wisdom. I think it's like a 7 actually. So he's not going to see any traps. Luckily there are no traps. So that was just precautionary stuff. A little tension, shall we say. Probably not as well executed if I would have had other party members doing it versus me. But there is a lot of loot in here. There are 2 treasure chests in the first boat. One chest contains 2,000 silver pieces or 200 gold. The other contains 1,000 electrum pieces, aka 2,000 gold, and 12 gems, each worth 100 gold pieces. So yeah, there's that. I want to look at something real quick. I'm going to do a community post where I talk about all the loot and all that type of stuff, and we'll go from there. I'm going to say the party's not going to return her to her family because then the family would want to have her back. They'll keep her low key. She will just join the party to go back, and they're going to complete the tower next adventure, and then she will go back and introduce the family to the show her family that she's been rescued, and the party will be able to receive compensation for that. This is a lot of XP. I expect we will have some levels. This would be a good thing for the last battle or the last area, which we know there's the betrayer. So we will go from there, and maybe they might even ask follow-up questions of the riddle before we go back. So I'm going to do a couple community posts. Look for that soon. Hope you guys had a good night. Keep rolling those dice. See you guys in the next one.